why even bother with the dreaded second position? For those of you who are learning for the first time might be wondering this, sooner or later you're gonna run into repertoire which pretty much demand it, whether it's because it makes it much easier for the left hand or because it demands to play double stops or string crossings that outside of second position are either extremely difficult or pretty much impossible. So most violin students do begin first and third position in the beginning. Those would be the first two that they learn. And well, how to practice second position, it feels like no man's land, right? It can feel a little awkward for many, at least in the beginning, because there are much fewer visual point of reference, and kinesthetically, unlike third and first position, like in first position you can sort of feel the back of the fingerboard here where the nut connects the strings into the peg box. And then in third position, for a lot of you, you're gonna feel you might feel contact with the beginning of the body of the violin, kind of as a kinesthetic reference point. But in second position, you're kind of in the middle there. So how to practice this? So in this video, I'm going to give you a few tips on how to play better in tune in second position. I know that over time with practice, you're going to be great at it. Okay, just be patient with it. It can be a little tricky at first. And we're also going to go over a couple etudes, like beginner etudes for first time folks playing in second position, or those who are returning to it after a long break of the violin, just to kind of familiarize yourself with how it's going to feel. And we're going to try it in a variety of different keys. So, points of reference. While the kinesthetic points of reference are lacking compared to first and third position, there are very clear points of reference in terms of audiation, especially with the second and third fingers. I would start learning second position in a friendly key like C major. In fact, those of you learning your repertoire, going through the Suzuki books, a lot of you folks doing that will probably first encounter second position in book 4 in the third movement of Vivaldi's A minor concerto. In the middle of the second page, after all the arpeggios, there's a section that goes into C major, and there's literally a written out C major scale, and this is the scale that I would start with, because right away second finger is on the note D, which we will tune with the open D string, and then the third finger is E natural, which we will tune with our open E. So right away you get these two fingers really kind of leading the way, and it's awesome because they are actually in the middle of the hand. Automatically they shape the hand frame for the second position. So this is great news, actually. You can actually use not just C major scale to use this hand frame. So the hand shape is like this, where you have space between the first and second finger, and then between second and third finger, and then you'll have a half step with a fourth finger. The other scale that you can practice with is F major on the D and A strings. So again, G, we can test, and then A, we can test with the A string. Then we have the B flat with a half step. So there's that hand shape, 1, 2, 3, and then 4 touching 3. And then the same hand shape on the A string. So with audiation and listening, you can really find these two keys. Also, another way to find where that first finger has to go, instead of looking from these points of references, the other way you could do it is use the leading tone from first position. So let's say we're in C major. I'm just using this octave because it features that hand shape that I showed earlier. The C, its leading tone is B natural. which is in first position. So right away you can practice shifting up a half step, leading tone into the tonic. And F major you can practice the same way. Oh yeah, one more thing, just like any other position that you're practicing, as much as possible, keep that first finger down. So on the way up, I'm actually leaving fingers down and crossing over with the one still down. And here, I'm keeping my first finger down on the A string as I cross back over. So only for the last note I move the first finger back to the D string, and then here I can use the E leading tone. And if I'm not sure if it's still in tune, I check again the third and second fingers. So after you get to this point, this is where you can try a couple etudes in these keys. And a great place to start is this book. It's Whistler's Introducing the Positions Volume 2, which features positions 2, 4, 6, and 7. And the second position is actually in the very beginning of this book. And it actually, I would actually approach it slightly different than what's written here. So here in this book, it actually starts with a C major scale in 2 octaves. You could do that too, but you'll notice that in the first octave is actually more difficult for the hand. We're going to actually go into that soon. But I would actually start with the beginning of the etude in F major. So Harvey Whistler, he has many such great etude compilation books. So he takes etudes by Scholz and Sitt and Wolfhard, and he compiles them into some really nice studies here. And you don't even have to play the entire thing, but I would start with this one. This is on page, is that page 4? No, it's on page 6 in the book. It's a etude in F major. And the reason I would start with it is because it really features what we just went over. It starts on the note C. So right away, these first 4 notes, you can check the D, that's a major second. And then you can listen for perfect fourth, if you know what perfect fourth sounds like. I talked about ear training in previous videos and how important this is. I pre-hear what perfect fourth sounds like to help to tune that fourth finger. Then there's that third finger crossing over. Then the next measure, second measure, same idea. There's a G. There's G and A. And then D. So right away in just the first 2 measures, there were so many notes I could check with open strings. This is why I would actually start with this etude. So next, once you sort of get the hang of this one, this is when I would actually go and learn the lower octave of C major scale, because now you can go ahead and try a different hand shape. This is in second position. This is where we're going to have a higher fourth finger, and actually in the first octave of C major it's not easy because all 4 fingers are going to be spread out. Will be the half step is going to happen on the string crossing, so it's very challenging actually. So second position, how to find that C on the G string. So actually in the book Whistler gives an idea of how to find the note, so you can use that as a guide if that's helpful. So you could go in first position and then finger replacement on the same tone. So you're listening for the same pitch for C, and you replace the third finger with the second and make sure the entire hand moves up, even though we're moving just a little bit. This is a true shift and it's not an extension. So now here, remember how we were tuning those second and third fingers on the other strings? Remember how it felt, okay? Because we need to balance the hand so that the pinky can easily extend. And also the first finger will have to extend as well as we cross over. It's gonna feel like an extension, but actually this is the frame for this octave. Then D, check, whole step here. And here's the half step, crossing over. That's why it's going to feel like an extension from E to F. And from here you can check G, check A. Same thing, be natural. It's going to feel like an extended fourth finger with half step C. So that first octave of C major scale is more challenging. So once you get the hang of that, you can also, again, similar scale, you could do, I guess you could also do G major scale on the, starting on the D string, same way. Extended 4. So what I'm introducing here is just kind of the order of hand shapes that makes it kind of manageable and practical to learn the second position. So now that we played C major in that lower octave, this is when I would actually go back and do the etudes in the Whistler book. This time, this one actually starts with the scale, and you don't necessarily have to, again, you don't have to do the entire thing because it actually starts with a scale. And here he adds some accidentals, like here he'll add a C sharp. This makes it a little more challenging because you want to really hone down on that guide note. Because the first finger is going to be moving around, so the second finger is more in charge than the first. And then back to C natural. Okay, and now I'm just going to skip to the very end of this etude where we have some arpeggios. So notice here, again, the second finger is more important. You want to check that you don't lose it. And here, from G to C, perfect fourth, again, listening for that sound. Da-dum. You can even tune it as a double stop. Then E. And check the E with the open E string. Okay, and so on. Those are the most important keys that this book covers. It does go into B flat major but it's a whole lot of the same ideas. What I would do next, actually, to make it to take it to the next level, is introduce more difficult key signatures. So for example, going back to F major, right? And that's to turn it into F minor. That will present a challenge for some. So the third finger is now A flat, so it's no longer a point of reference with an open string. That's what makes some of these keys more difficult. There are fewer and fewer notes that match open strings. I'll do melodic. So melodic minor is awesome also to kind of practice the flexibility of moving the fingers up and down, but without losing that frame. Because in the F minor, going up, we have D and E natural going up, but going down, none of the notes on the A string match open strings. So E flat, D flat, and C. And the whole time I kept that first finger down because I found the note C from before. And just like F major, E natural is the leading tone. So you can use the keep the first finger down. Okay, and then finally, and you can find some I'll try to look for some etudes or some musical examples maybe for another video where we can explore further into this. Finally, keys even more difficult, such as F sharp major, F sharp minor, because those, or C sharp, the keys of C sharp, major and minor, because you have that first finger a half step higher. So instead of finding it from the first position as a leading tone, I would do the opposite. So let's say I want to play F sharp major scale. The good news is that it's going to have that same finger pattern that we did for C major and F major, right? Because any major scale starting on first finger is going to have that combination if you're going across two strings. But if I want to do F sharp, first of all, there are a lot more sharps. So you can't check open strings so freely, but use the note G to find F sharp. G is not in that key. However, on the violin, just how to find it on the fingerboard. Then slide down a half step. And then from here, I would find that perfect fourth. Dum, bum. I would sing it in my head, the quality of the perfect fourth. No matter which note you start with, it has that same quality. So there's the 1-4. And then from here, so I got that 1-4 frame. And then I fill in the rest. So I already know it's a whole step and a whole step here, and then a half step with the fourth finger. I can actually also build it backwards from B, A sharp, G sharp, F sharp. And if I'm not sure if it's in tune, I'm going to check if G natural is right above that note. There it is. Okay, so yeah, the F sharp, we don't want to lose it. Difficult keys like this, no matter which position you play them in, it's a great idea to practice them with a drone. Because the first time playing scales like this can really feel easy to get lost, but the more you train your ear and the more you combine it with how it feels on the violin, and it also takes a long period of time. You can't cheat your way through it. There's no shortcut. It takes a lot of repetitions. It takes time. It takes days. It can take months. But as long as you keep up the work, just trust the process, and you'll be able to do it over time. Just like any high positions on the violin, it's basically the same kind of process. Combination of ear training, kinesthetic sense, putting them together, finding point of reference, being creative. And then in repertoire, the good news is in repertoire, you also have the harmony that supports the music, and that's another thing that will guide you. So I hope these starting tips to playing in second position, I hope they were helpful to you. Please let me know your biggest takeaway in the comment section below. And if you found this video helpful, I would appreciate if you give it a quick thumbs up down below and share it with a friend or a colleague. Subscribe to my channel to see more content like this. And I will also be posting more detailed examples of this kind of stuff on my new Patreon page that will be released a couple weeks after I'm publishing this video. It's the middle of December 2025. So if you're watching this in If you're watching this after 2025, go check out my Patreon. I will link it in the description below once it's available. Have a good one. Happy practicing.